Well, hello everyone, and greetings. Greetings. Welcome to eCOM360, the online event. Indeed, the second online event due to the disruption that all of us, of course, are experiencing, which is COVID-19. But welcome. My name's Scott Gould. I've had the pleasure of keynoting and speaking at the first eCOM360 conference. If you were there and if you remember me, greetings to you. I will not be throwing my jacket on you today, but we've got a great lineup for you. Of course, today was meant to be eCOM360. It was meant to be back in March. We rescheduled for today, and as a result we can't be together, but we do have a great lineup for you. And let me take you to the lineup for today. So I'm going to get my old screen share up for you. Today is all about the new reality of holiday shopping, what to expect, and how to prepare. And so I'd like to just quickly run through what we've got on. So we've kicked off now. Shortly we'll be having opening remarks with Anton Sapriko from ScandiWeb, founder of ScandiWeb. We're thrilled to have him here. We're then going to be looking at reaching value-conscious customers. Now, you might have heard of Wish, and you've certainly would have heard of Harvard University. Well, here we have Harvard Stjernen, no relation to Harvard University, though he has been to Stanford, but he'll be sharing with us. Then we were due to have a kind of power pair from Google, head of search and head of mobile, with us. Sadly, there was some kind of error. We do have the recording of their session, which we will be releasing to you, but we don't have it for you right now in this session. So at 5:30 p.m., I will be subbing in. So you'll be getting to hear some of my thoughts about engagement this holiday season. Then we're going to Femi Adeboye, who joined us at this online event back in March from Salesforce. He's going to be sharing his shopping predictions. And if you remember, when he spoke at the online event back in March, he was actually, he was superb with some of the analysis that he was able to share and the figures that come from Salesforce's reams of data. So that will be one not to miss. And then finally, we close with Anton's again, crossing invisible borders, or online citizenship, which certainly has piqued my interest. So let's make sure we're all good. What have we got next? And my screen is temporarily frozen here. Isn't that always the way these things go? Oh, there we are. Well, no, sorry, whoopsie daisy. So we're now going to be looking for opening remarks from Anton's CEO of ScandiWeb, and of course organizers of eCOM360. So I'll hand it over to him now.
Hello, Scott.
Antons, we can hear you. You are on the air.
Okay, great. Thank you for the introduction. I hope that everybody got some stuff to accompany them during the show. At least we are lucky to still be being allowed to go to the office, and today we got a popcorn machine open. So same as you, I'm very thankful for everybody who coming today, and glad to see many people who were at the previous event. And what came to my mind, and do you remember this? Going upstairs to the hall, each stair had a year on it with a certain event, like a milestone event for e-commerce, for digital, the size of e-commerce market, Black Friday sales in China, online internet penetration to households. And on the stage, we were like reflecting that, looking back, everything seems so logical, and it's so easy to extrapolate further to the future. And as you told, not anymore. Who would extrapolate we would have an online conference among all other extrapolatable things that happen? But yeah, it's hard, but we still try to predict, and not even predict. We are not scientists, right? Not e-commerce scientists. We are practitioners. And now, just around the corner, is the biggest event of the e-commerce year, is a Black Friday. And we want to maximize our campaigns. And let me share some images, so you, Scott, can help me to share arenas where I can. Yeah, if we can just run through some of them. So there are some people holding something in their hands. Yes. And further on. Yeah, a guy in Kazakhstan. And that's me in Riga and me in Georgia. Yeah, with some money. So who are these people and what they're doing and why it is connected with Black Friday and e-commerce practitioners? These are ScandiWeb employees, and they are selling canned fish on the streets to strangers. It happened in a moment when I felt that we, as a leading e-commerce agency in the region, we have to get really down to the roots of what we are doing. We are helping to sell more. And we have to get to the core of it without Google Studio tracking pixels, hotjars, segmenting, profiling, and everything else that sometimes assisting us to sell more, and sometimes is just getting between people, decision makers, and real actual sales. So just you, your product, and a lot of potential customers. I myself has learned a lot during these sales, both in Latvia, and it became a mandatory rule for everybody working in e-commerce. Like if you want to go get a promotion, go sell Sprots. You go for some trip with your team to celebrate project launch, take some Sprots and sell them in Greece, sell them in New York, sell them in Kazakhstan. The impact on the team was noticeable. People became more, I would say, down to earth, more of a practitioner, right? So they felt what they're supposed to do. And what we are doing now, we are not selling Sprots anymore. It's dangerous. People would run, or you need a hazmat suit, but it used to energize us a lot to take something, to take a local fish and go into the wild, like I went to a metro, went to some like Times Square and sell. And now I personally, I need more inspiration. I want to get more energized, refreshed, and inspired for this biggest event of the year and all other e-commerce events and activities that are scheduled. And I'm sure that Google, Salesforce, ScandiWeb, Wish, New York Times, Harvard, and Stanford can share us how to do it. I'm all ears, and welcome again, and enjoy the show.
Thank you, Antons. I'd love to get a little one of these things, so please make sure that I'm next in line to get some. Well, we are going to be very shortly hearing a few words. Sorry, let me just pull this up from Harvard. In fact, let me get my screen up there so you can all see his wonderful name. This is Harvard Stienen. Now, he's worked across 4 continents on e-commerce and startups. He's worked in China, he's worked in Amsterdam, he's worked in Palo Alto, he worked at LinkedIn, he studied at Grenoble, China, and also at Stanford. He's got a fair amount of experience, but also he's got a superb name. And of course, he's from Wish. So we're going to pass over to him right now. And Harvard, we look forward to hearing your insights. The floor is yours. Please, everyone at home, put your hands together.
Thank you, Scott. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you fine.
That was a humbling introduction there. That's pretty wow. I've never.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, could you? We can't see you. Would you just make sure that your video is switched on? Is that okay?
Yeah. Let me just.
There we go. We can see your slides.
Taking one step at a time here. So the slides first, and then let's see.
I should also mention that Harvard works with kids as a volunteer, an incredible amount. So you clearly are a lovely person. And here he goes. Right. Well, I'll leave it to you, and I might ask you a few questions momentarily.
All right. Sounds good. Cool. Well, yeah. Again, thank you for guys for having me. I I'm usually based in San Francisco, I've been unable to come back to Europe for the last 9 months, I was lucky enough to be able to get my green card a couple of weeks ago, so I'm able to travel now. So now I'm back home in Norway with this lovely wooden backdrop here. So yeah, so I'm going to touch upon a lot of different topics today. They're going to be mostly related to these 3 different categories. A little bit of the background to our success of Wish, like how we were able to capture the fun high street experience of shopping. And then we're going to talk about, our roots in value shopping, and also how we're using that market segment to expand into the mid-tier market of branded goods. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about what we are doing in order to revolutionize brick and mortar retail. So how we are helping local offline business leverage big data in order to have a more relevant offering to their local communities. So, but before all that, I'm going to just quickly go into the background or a quick introduction of Wish, because I think there's a lot of misconception out there about Wish and what we are and all of that. And when I meet people, oftentimes they cannot believe that we're not a Chinese company, for example. So the thing we are is that we're an American company that's been around for a while. We actually started selling online in 2013. The roots of the company has been in Silicon Valley. It's been founded in San Francisco, and it's a platform. We connect buyers from all over the world with the merchants from all over the world. And naturally, if you've used our app, you see that there are a lot of Chinese merchants that they're selling a lot on our app. So yeah, so far we have 500,000 merchants on the platform. We have about 100 million monthly active users globally. Every day, about 2 million plus products are sold worldwide, and we have about 150 million products for sale on the platform. And for the last 3 years, we've been the =1 shopping app in the world. So a few user stats. We have users in over 100 markets. About over 50% are on Android, 60-40 female-male split. 60% of our users are under the age of 30. 90% of our transaction comes from mobile. So only about 10% comes from our desktop. And the average time spent on the app by our users for the daily active users about 10 minutes. So quick origin story of Wish. We pride ourselves in being very data driven. So I think a lot of companies are formed with a very clear sort of a very clear vision of what the founders want the company to be and where they want to fit into the market. With Wish, everything happened kind of gradually by just discovering data and seeing what makes sense. So our founder, Peter Szulczewski, he worked at Google on predictive models before he went off on his own to start a company called Context Logic. He built a recommendation engine there to help advertisers across the world better target users. And then he was playing around with this recommendation engine. He tried out something. He set up a website called wishwall.me. There he allowed people to create wish lists. So you could set up your 10 favorite products for this Christmas, and then share with your friends and family. And we would apply that recommendation engine to those items people would put in their wish list, and based on that, show them other products that they might be interested in. And the site became quite popular. It's about 200,000 users pretty quick. And then from a conversation that Peter had with one of our investors, they figured, hey, we have all these people, we know what they want and what they're interested in. It makes sense to try to connect them with sellers and create an e-commerce platform. And that's how essentially Wish came to be. And the crux of what that shopping experience turned out to be is, this first topic that I said I would touch upon, and that is, how do you make sure that you can capture the fun aspects of shopping? So what was really good for us was that there was no legacy product for us to try to cram into a small mobile screen. We were able to start from scratch and basically find, we want to be mobile. How do we do this in the best way possible? So there are a couple of things there. I think one important aspect is the bandwidth limitations between human and machine that becomes more severe when you use a phone versus a laptop. You guys probably know of Elon Musk. He wants to build this neural link because he wants to increase the bandwidth between the human brain and technology. And when you're using a desktop, you have 10 fingers, your input and your output. It's fairly quick, but then when you reduce it to a small screen on a phone, you reduce to gesturing, like swiping, typing with 2 thumbs. So it's very limiting. So you have to rethink everything. So this is why we came up with this flow, this feed of just having just an endless feed, essentially, of products being available on the app. You can just scroll through, you can click on things, and the more you use the app, the more we get to know the user and the more relevant recommendations we can come up with. And that sets the stage for the fun aspect of shopping. So we like to say there are 2 types of shopping. There's your day-to-day necessity shopping, and then there's your fun shopping. And the day-to-day is when you go to the grocery store and you already know what you need to get, so you just go there. It's a transaction. You pick up the stuff, put it in a basket, you go home. Whereas when you go shopping on a Saturday in your local high street, it's a much more inspirational experience. You go and you look at what's in the storefront window of one shop, and you go into one store and you look at all these different products, and you discover. It's a huge discovery experience, and that's what's exciting about it. You never know what you'll find, and you'll be inspired to take your next step in your purchasing journey. And that's what we've harvested. That's what we've launched basically really well with this app. So another aspect of this being having such like a natural fun experience and being on mobile is that we really attracted a lot of Gen Z, younger millennials, and they also expect to have an endless stream of options. When they are on Netflix, they want to just scroll through stuff. They want to be able to scroll through Instagram, scroll through the whole catalog of Spotify. They want to have endless selection, and that's what we can provide. So that's one big aspect of the success of Wish, is creating this user experience. And I think the second big background to why we grew so big is, again, it goes to us always being cognizant of data and looking into the data and seeing what the data can tell us. And I think for us for those of you watching at home and while speaking at this event today, we're very involved in what we do, and we're very we try to create things. Oftentimes we try to create things that we ourselves are very interested in, and that leaves us with the ability to make really cool things, but it leaves us with a huge bias in our heads on what actually the market wants. And our CEO, he always brings up this fact here, 40% of Americans do not have enough savings to cover a $400 emergency. So that's something that the US federal government, they do this annual economic status report, and that's the fact he pulls from there. And it tells you a lot about how different market segments are and how people live their lives across the US and also across Europe, right? I think I pulled some numbers from ING, and 30% of Europeans have no savings. And I think out of those people who have savings, I think it was like 36% have less than like 500 euros, something like that. So there are big differences in the markets. And I think this more of divide and focus on value is something that's grown quite a lot. So we've used this segment to provide very affordable goods at very, very good prices to market segments that are more price sensitive. And we've used that that base and expanded upon that into selling more brands on our platform. And this is why we've seen in the last year, I mean, for multiple reasons really, but we've seen an explosion in the amount of US and EU merchants selling on Wish. Historically it's been mostly Chinese merchants, but with COVID, this craze in e-commerce is completely taking off and competition increasing, logistics being more challenging in certain parts of the world. It's selling on Amazon, for example, it's getting harder and harder because there's just so much competition. And I think even in Europe, Amazon, I think about 50% of their volumes come from their own products. So they're also competing with you. And then when you look at your ROAS for your Facebook ads, your Google ads, a lot of brands and merchants are hungry for new channels in order to explore and to sell through. And I think a lot of European and American merchants have found this through Wish in the last year, and it's been pretty exciting for us. So we've also done more work in order to promote these brands on our platform, and we have a specific tab for the brands. We've done a lot in terms of setting up brand verification processes. So now we sell Adidas products, Nike, Lenovo, Disney, Skullcandy, even L'Oreal products. I think even in the US, some of our top sellers are Apple products. And again, we provide a lot of entertainment value for the consumer. So it's good prices, and we bring them into the app through seasonal sales. We have, group buying discounts. You have limited quantity deals. We offer all these rewards and mini games. They're all fun and engaging. That makes sure that the user is in the app and has time to discover new things that they can potentially purchase. And then we have another product we've launched inside of Wish that's called Product Boost. So it's essentially our own advertising solution. So I mean, there's no secret that Amazon grew large early on because they were one of the first companies to take Google Ads seriously, and they could get so many impressions for so cheap. And that's essentially what this product boost is right now, and that's where we're getting so many more European and American sellers on the platform. Then of course we have, some of you have probably seen our Facebook ads at one point or another. We are one of the biggest advertisers in the world when it comes to Facebook ads, and we always focus on products in our ads. And when European and American merchants upload their products to Wish, they become a part of our advertising catalog and can get free impressions that way as well. So yeah, as in short, we're doing a lot to incentivize these new merchants from Europe and the US with extra impressions, and even ad credits when they first sign up, and they get really cheap commission revenue share as well. So I'll skip forward here because I think I'm running out of time. So the last part of my presentation is about this online to offline and how we are revitalizing the brick and mortar retail. So, before even COVID hit, local businesses were struggling. Local retail was struggling. I think in the US, about 8,000 different stores would close down every year. And now from COVID, I think it's about 100,000 stores have closed down in the US of brick and mortar retail. And there's a lot of like mom and pop shops, a lot of small independent stores. And, it's hard for them to compete on multiple levels. They have to compete with bigger chains. A company like Walmart has just better data and better relationship with suppliers. So it's hard for them to compete on price. Then they also have to compete with e-commerce. And this is sort of where the idea of the Wish Local program came. Like, we want to use our data to enable independent shop owners to succeed. And the Wish Local program is divided into 3 different sections. It's the Pick Up Now program, the wholesale program, and the product upload solution. So the Pickup Now program is the first, it's like the bread and butter of the Wish Local solution we have. So as an independent shop owner, you can sign up online to be a Wish Local partner. We send you a box of inventory. That is the inventory that is the most popular products sold in your local area. You put these products in your back room in storage. We also give you a free phone with an app on it that has the merchant, the Wish Local merchant app installed in it. And then you just keep that readily available, and then you wait. And consumers in your area that shop on Wish and shop one of the products that you have in this forward deployed inventory, you will then, these users will see that this product is available for pickup now. So they will see in their phone where to pick up this product. They go down to your store, they show a QR code. You scan the QR code, you go to the back room, find the product, you give the product to the end consumer, and you get paid for every product that someone picks up. But on top of that, there's another valuable asset, and that is that what we see from so far is that on average, people will buy one product from the local store's own inventory on top of the product they bought off of Wish and picked up. So it's a whole new sales channel, and it brings foot traffic into the store and awareness of the store for these merchants. And then of course, during COVID, we extrapolated on this, and we have made it possible for store owners to deliver these products home to people or do contact-free delivery and get paid for that as well. And then the second part of the Wish Local program is the wholesale segment, and that is you have access to our wholesale platform, so you can look at our data, so you can see what's popular to buy in your local community, and then you can stock those products in your shelves using our relationships with Chinese manufacturers. So you can compete now on a whole nother level. You can compete now with the big chain, down the street, or you can even just explore which products are more relevant to even have in your store. We had one case in one of our first Wish Local partners in London. They were a phone repair shop. Now they sell only beauty products, because through our data, they found out, and some trial and error, of course, they found out that it was a better fit for them, and they could make more money by selling beauty products. And then this last part here is the local partner upload. So during COVID, this has been an important feature for our partners, and they can take photos of products they have in their store, upload it directly to Wish, and make it available to anyone to buy in their local community. And they can then deliver that product or make it available for curbside pickup. Okay, I think that's all I have. I hope it wasn't too much crammed in there. If any of you guys are interested in knowing more about these topics, feel free to email me. And if any of you're interested in trying to sell on Wish, please reach out as well. I know I can probably hook you guys up with some good deals on free impressions and free advertising boost dollars and such. So yeah, thank you guys. I can't.
Oh, sorry. I did the old thing of leaving my mute on. Thank you very much. I'm curious, talking about, kind of reaching value conscious customers. So what then do you think would be the main takeaway? If we could summarize what you've said in one point with regards to value conscious customers, what would you say?
It's an enormous part of the US and European population that is value conscious. And it's a segment that is growing. And it's a segment that has been it's been ignored in a large part by a lot of sellers. And I think, outside of the rise of Wish, I mean, you look at in the US, I think 8 out of 10 stores that opened last year were dollar stores. So it's all about, value. You see the retail successes in countries like Sweden as well. It's also dollar stores. So this value segment is getting bigger. And I think one outcome out of this COVID crisis as well is that people are going to be even more value conscious and be more conscious of how they spend their hard-earned euros.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your summary there. This recording will be available, and so we look forward to sharing it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good luck to you with Wish. Oh, there he is. Look, there he was. Right. If you don't mind, yep, your screen is off. So I'm going to flick over to my screen now. And as I said, we were due to have Google with us at this point in the day. I'm substituting in. I'm subbing in on behalf of those at Google who are unable to be here. Their recording will be shared with you all afterwards, so please, you won't miss out on their insights. But you do get the bonus of hearing a few thoughts from me, and I want to talk to you about a Corona Christmas and tactics for customer engagement. So excuse me while I do the dance of bringing up multiple things at once on my screen. Here we go. Right. So yes, a Corona Christmas. We have a Christmas that's looking a fair bit like this. And the reason why, as we all know, is because the number of COVID-19 cases worldwide are just simply scaling up and up and up. I mean, this graph to me actually terrifies me to some degree. You can see that as countries went into lockdown, there was some kind of pause, and then there was a sharp rise at the beginning of summer, a little bit of a lull again, and now it's rising again. And you can see the chart on the right-hand side. I mean, when it gets to Christmas, we are looking at the greatest number of new cases day by day. There is not a kind of a decrease on the horizon here. Even that image on the right, I mean, this is drawn from Statista. They are saying that even with universal masks, which for them gives a slight dip, they're still expecting it to go up again by December. We are facing a COVID Christmas. Not only that, think about this is UK data, the number of employees working from home. Therefore, people are at home an awful lot. They've become used to being at home. We've got 60% of the workforce is currently working from home in the UK. I imagine it's the same across countries in Europe. Right? Massive amount of people working from their place at home. COVID has just accelerated the trend actually that we're expecting to see there. And the same with e-commerce penetration. It took us 10 years to go from around 7% to 16%. And then in a matter of months, we jump to coming on 30%, and that has only increased. So we have seen that COVID is accelerating trends that we were expecting. The trouble is it's at the same speed at which the virus is spreading. So if you think that you've seen people working from home and you think that you've seen plenty of people doing e-commerce shopping, it is only going to increase all the more. That's what I'm trying to get across here. What does this mean? So these are the few points I'd like to share with you. First of all, we're having a digital Christmas, right? Let's be clear about this. It is a digital Christmas. We perhaps don't even realize what that looks like right now, but here are a few things that are for sure that you need to do if you have not done them. Number one, you've got to have your digital A game for shoppers, right? You've just got to be ready. You've got to make sure that you are out there, that your funnels are working, that your ads are working, right? If you haven't refreshed your digital campaigns and just make sure you're on your A game, now's the time to do it. Mobile's not as responsive enough, flipping it, get yourself sorted, right? Need a progressive web app, get hold of ScandiWeb and get that sorted. That needs to be there. The second thing about this is a big part of Christmas for me as a man, let's say, maybe I'm over exaggerating or generalizing, but this is true for me, is I'm a late, unsure shopper. I don't know how I'm going to find late stuff online, and I need some kind, I'm going to be swirling around retailers that are providing some kind of offer for people that are unsure of what to buy and time is running out. And communication with this is key. You need to tell customers when you order this, it will be delivered by here. You need to tell us if your breakfast isn't going anywhere. You need to tell us if your products are still available or if they're gone. Every time now that I am thinking about going to some shop that I used to go to, or I'm thinking of anything along the lines of something that I used to do, right? I'm immediately thinking, well, they're probably going to be shut because of COVID. So you need to make sure you have really clearly communicated that your business is open, right? And that you are open for business. Don't take it for granted. Even if nothing has changed, you need to make sure that you say nothing has changed. All right, well, that's very good. Let's look at the next thing. Well, the next thing we're going to be facing here inevitably is a socially distant Christmas. Now, I've not had one of these before. I've FaceTimed a few family members on Christmas Day and that type of thing, but we are talking about socially distant, as in people can't be drinking from the same punch bowl Christmas, right? We're talking about snowball fights that are going to be socially distant. We're talking also about delivery of gifts to families because those families can't go there in person. This isn't I can't get to you because you're in a different country and I'm going to buy and have it sent to you. This is actually, I probably shouldn't be leaving my home, so I'm going to be getting this sent to you. So how are retailers preparing themselves for some sense of socially distant, vaccinated supply chain like Amazon is actually looking to offer? And the twist here is going to be novelty on necessity, right? Face masks, Christmas bauble masks, punch bowls that are designed for social distancing where there's lots of little trinkets and things, right? This is going to be the new world. And here's the thing. This is novel. Now, we might be in for years of this over Christmas, but this is the first one. And much of this stuff will be novel and new, and actually it'll be somewhat exciting. I recommend, again, you offer things that have some kind of novelty around social distancing within them. The key thing, I think, is going to be that the Christmas face mask is going to be the new Christmas jumper. You know, those terrible Christmas sweaters? I've just realized actually how horrible that Christmas sweater is. Please forgive me. That is really bad. But yeah, we're going to be having lots of bad Christmas jumpers replaced by even worse Christmas face masks. Final thing is we're going to be having an inside out Christmas. As in people are going to wanting to recreate indoors what they can't access outdoors, right? So we need to think about how do we increase participation by helping customers recreate Christmas experiences indoors. I think that's a really big thing to consider. For instance, how can we enrich virtual experiences in a Christmassy way? How can we do carol singing and recreate this in a virtual manner? How can we do typical drinks but recreate this in a virtual manner? Can you sell a product that can be shipped to different locations and all those people get one and then they have an online thing where they all share it? And here's a very keen insight: is we need to focus on family values. This is going to be a very family focused Christmas because people are going to be just around their families. So you want to double down on that. Some examples here of how this might be done. Well, we all saw the way that IKEA did their backgrounds for Zoom calls and things. You know, is there going to be a Christmas version of that? Can you supply something like that? Even just a bit of brand recognition and brand lift might be all that you get there, but it's well worth it. And then interesting, the rise in subscription boxes continues. Subscription boxes just going off the chart. Cratejoy, an American company, actually now have the Russian Christmas box, and they have different Christmas boxes for different countries that you can then have to you. Here's the point: because you can't leave your home, we're going to bring a whole new Christmas experience to you. I mean, I imagine about those that are going to be in the UK. I mean, getting a Christmas tree is a big deal, right? We're going to be having a home Christmas tree delivery. I'm sure somebody who's smart enough will think about it. Disney did something here. They decided they're going to help you cook up the magic at home. And so they're giving some of their recipes for some of their most favorite Disneyland goodies that you can now recreate at home. So here's going to be the big thing: is do it yourself, DIY, do it at home. How can you take traditional Christmas things that can't be done, but enable people to do them at home? Now, those are three quick tactics and things to consider, but I think here's the deeper thing for us to consider. Is what does this really mean? I mean, we've got all this stuff around a very COVID Christmas. People in Scotland told to prepare for a digital Christmas. Will Christmas be called off, right? Here's the thing, is people are uncertain. The leadership model here, situational leadership 2, says that when people are uncertain, the approach that one should take is to coach them, to get alongside them and help them, to give them support and direction. In uncertainty, that's what we want. And I actually think that right now people are going to be buying certainty to some degree. Christmas is going to be an act of how can I buy in? How can I feel certain after a year that has felt so uncertain? And the way that you do that, the way that you create certainties, you give people direction, do this, go here, click, you make your directions for ordering really clear. You make your directions for delivery really, really clear. But the second thing that you do in tandem is you provide support. I don't just mean customer service support. I'm talking about emotional support, a sense of we are here for you and we are getting behind you and together we can make this happen. Now, actually, as people, we do this really well, but often when we turn to our companies, we end up taking off our human hat and we put a professional hat on. But actually, everybody is human and they are looking for this type of thing. Well, there are some rules about this. If we want to create confidence, well, don't cut your communication. Here's a chart on the right of organizations, and you can see in black, these are the organizations that did not cut spending during a recession. The other colors are those companies that did cut spending during a recession. And you can see that it's the ones who don't actually cut their spending that actually increase in a recession. There's a very important marketing rule called excess share of voice, ESOV. It states that your share of market will come to match your share of voice. That share of market is a lagging indicator behind the leading indicator of share of voice. In other words, the more present you are in your communication, the more the market will respond to that. As humans, we live by this thing called the availability heuristic. What's available to us, we think as being the important thing that we need. We deem it as being better. So you need to make sure you are available, that you don't under communicate, you over communicate. Don't cut your communication. Don't cut things out because you think it's going to be tough. You've got to make sure that people know that. And like I said earlier, you've got to communicate both what's staying the same and what's changing. Make it very clear what your opening hours are. Make it very clear what the delivery turnaround will be. Make it very clear when something will deliver. Make it very clear what will be socially distanced. Make it clear. Take nothing for granted. Talk about you and we, but don't talk about me. Don't talk about yourself. And finally, be honest and hopeful at the same time. For instance, Apple did a great job, continue to do a great job of just subtly at the top of their webpage, constantly saying, we're open. And this was, admittedly, this was now when many of their retail stores were closed, but they kept it very clear when they were going to be open, when they were going to be closed. It was top of the page. You didn't have to go hunting to find that information. And as far as how to communicate well at this time, now we're not necessarily in crisis mode communicating to customers, but this is a masterclass in communication. Go on YouTube and look for COVID-19 Arne Sorensen or COVID-19 Marriott. He is the chief executive of Marriott Hotels. And look at some of these words that come out of his talk to colleagues around the organization. The common crisis across our company, right? He's not talking about himself. Nothing like we've seen before. We've been forced to take proactive steps. And then he goes on to say, I will not be taking a salary. So he makes it very personal when he talks about what he will be doing. And then he goes on, there will be more difficult moments than this. I'm determined to see us through. Together we can and we will overcome this. We will thrive again. The language of we, really important right now. And that communicates more than anything, this critical thing, hope. In fact, there's this really great copywriting idea that says people aren't buying even benefits or features, they're buying hope. So often what people are buying when they buy new things is they are buying hope. So how are you communicating hope? I think we have a very real professional opportunity here to do well this Christmas by communicating well and communicating hope. But I also think, if I can say it, that we have a very real human opportunity to provide hope to one another in the way that we conduct ourselves over the coming months. That was me. I'm happy to have jumped in today. We, of course, get the Google video to you. But if you'd like to contact me and ask for anything, I'm happy to indulge and respond to you, scott@scottgould.me. So let me wrap that one up and let's get ourselves back on track here. Now, let me see. I've got a slight, here we go, right. I've got a slight issue just with some of my slides. So let's touch back and see where we are at. Excuse me, everyone. Let's see here. So we've had our opening remarks. We heard from Harvard. We've just heard from me subbing in. I've actually been exceedingly fast. I've not taken half an hour. I've taken 15 minutes. And so we're now due to hear from Femi Adeboye. Let's just see whether Femi is ready for us. He should be coming online shortly. Let me have a closer look here. Anton's is Femi en route? Do you know? Perhaps you could just alert me to his current status. That would be helpful. Let me just check here. Check my messages. See if he's on his way. And while he is, I'm going to check out the chat, see what people have been saying. Yes, somebody did pick up on the sweater. I am actually really, really sorry about that. I did not check the image, but I'm glad it was just I'm glad people could take that with a little bit of humor. Digital Christmas, this is gold, says Gunders. It is gold. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it is gold. Santukins on YouTube asks, will the recordings of the webinar be available? Yes, they will. Stefano says Christmas cards, digital Christmas cards, how to recreate the outside use of kilt. I'm not quite sure what that is, Stefano. And then someone else has just said, da hell, this is not a day's stream. I think that might just be a bit of spam there, but you can't, hey, we're going to get a bit of spam. It means at least, we've got some bots watching, which is really good. I would love it if people could drop any thoughts they have and anything that they think that they could share with others on what they think might be insightful strategies and tactics for this Christmas. Gundars is saying it was more like a joke. Oh, and right, sorry, Femi is on his way. So let me get ourselves ready for Femi. Now, Femi Adeboye from Salesforce. He joined us at our online event in March, which was when the original eCOM360 conference was to happen. He's going to be talking about 2020 holiday shopping predictions. So here's hoping that the scanty amount of data I provided you, he will be able to provide something far bigger on. And of course, Femi also has this delicious voice. So Femi, we're glad to have you here, and I am passing over to you. Welcome, Femi. How are you?
I'm well. Can you all hear me?
I can hear you and I can see you.
Fantastic.
Well, he has grown a corona beard.
I had a little bit before, but I'm working on it more. And unlike you, Scott, I don't have that beautiful head of hair anymore, so I have to.
It's grown a fair bit. I got to.
Oh man, lovely! I'm definitely a little bit envious, but I do what I can with this lower half here.
You've got it working. Well, let me hand over to you and end the banter. But thank you for joining us today.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me, guys. So yes, I understand it's been quite an insightful day. I was able to attend a little bit earlier as well. So always a pleasure to work with Scott, Rainis, and the 360 team. So I'm going to be going through holiday predictions today and holiday trends, e-commerce trends. As you can imagine, and I'm sure you've heard from a number of speakers today and at other events, trends and predictions we're seeing have been probably the most mind-blowing in the last maybe 2 to 3 decades. The impact of the pandemic on the commerce landscape, the online shopping landscape, the digital engagement landscape has just been unprecedented. And we'll go through some of these figures today. But what really excites me about this presentation is that based on patterns we've seen in history, halfway through the presentation, I'm going to share with you our predictions. And actually, we're going to find out very soon if one of those predictions will come true, because it's related to Amazon Prime Day. And we don't yet have the data to confirm it, but we'll see in the next few weeks if we were right about that one. So a lot of the stuff I'm going to share with you guys is factual. It's actual data. And the latter stages is going to be predictions. So, I would advise you to make business decisions based on multiple sources of data, but you can take this as an influence towards your decisions and your preparation for the holiday season, which is pretty much upon us right now. So just give me a second. I'm going to share my screen very quickly. One sec. Let's pull this out here. Boom. And you guys let me know once you can see that. Share screen. Is it this one? Okay, let's share this one here. See what happens. Right,
Yep, I mean, I can see your Google Doc presentation folder, and I'm enjoying quickly scanning and seeing all these luscious decks. Oh, yeah, we got you. Good, thank you.
Definitely not the right one, but yeah, all good. If I go into one thing I don't like about Zoom is if I go into presenter mode, do you still see it?
We can. Oh, we lost you again. But
I'm going to share again because I think I have to go into presenter mode and then share, which is a Zoom specific thing that I'm not crazy about.
certainly.
Yeah, that should work. All right, sweet. So we should be in the 2020 holiday shopping predictions.
Yeah, we've got you. Thank you, Femi.
Brilliant. Okay, guys, I'll try to keep to my time, but I expect you guys to be intrigued, slightly entertained. I'm a bit of a geek. I love statistics. I love talking about commerce growth and consumer behavior. And we're quite fortunate here at Salesforce that we represent probably the largest SaaS enterprise commerce platform in the world in terms of revenue. So, we processed about $47.5 billion last year alone through the platform, across about 5,000 enterprise websites. So, the average Commerce Cloud customer is doing about $50 million a year online. And all of this revenue is digital. It's all online revenue. So we, as a shared solution, we can look at and understand the behaviors of the customers who are coming onto those platforms. So already a fantastic introduction from Steve. So I don't need to remind you who I am. I've been in e-commerce 11 years. I will say thank you again, because I know that it's a very difficult time for lots of us. I think Ireland has just hit level 4 lockdown. So, a lot of our places have been digressing back to what we saw in the initial stages of the pandemic. Yet here you are spending 30 minutes of your time with me to learn about commerce trends and predictions. So thank you so much, each and every one of you on this session. I truly appreciate from the bottom of my heart your time. And I hope to make good value of it. So where's the data coming from? We have amalgamated an analysis of approximately 1 billion shoppers. Now, as I mentioned to you earlier, we transact a tremendous amount of revenue on the platform across 5,000 enterprise websites globally, but we've not taken all of that data into consideration because some of our customers opt out, most of them opt in. And then, of course, it's based on quarter to quarter. So what we're looking at primarily is Q2 2019 versus Q2 2020. And what kind of patterns of behavior did we see in digital commerce and digital behavior in the market from then to here? And across that period, Q2 2020, we saw about 1 billion shoppers, unique shoppers hit the platform, right? So let's look at the trends that we identified. So trends we identified, first and foremost, no surprises, guys. Flatlining is bricks and mortar stores. Now, flatlining is actually not too bad. It's not been declining too heavily, but versus last year, we've seen that a lot of this stuff has maintained the same level. Now, across Europe and North America, we know when this report was first written, approximately 1 million employees had been furloughed. But of course, that's probably tripled now. So this has been a massive blow to the economy and a massive blow to bricks and mortar stores. And of course, retail square foot has dropped by about 60% across Europe and North America, with about 60% of stores closing at least for a week during the pandemic. Some countries different to others. So this has been a massive blow. On the positive side, as expected, we've seen some significant growth in digital commerce. So 20% digital growth, 1 billion global shoppers, and about 15% increase in revenue, and a 40+% increase in unique shoppers, right? This is all quite standard, though, having said that. This is Q1, by the way, guys. I should have said that at the start. So this is all quite standard. It's not on the digital side, this is kind of the standard growth we see on our platform, usually about 20 to 35%, right? So real life goes digital. Now, off the back of the pandemic, what we've seen that's going to influence a lot of your understandings today is commerce aside, online purchasing aside, our behaviors as individuals and business people and shoppers has changed completely. So we've seen quadruple increase in video streaming. Online shopping has maybe tripled, if not quadrupled as well. Browsing the internet, just going on the internet, is up 50%. right? We've seen people using social media platforms over 40% more than we usually do. Listening to streaming is up 30%. Quick story, I run a gaming business outside of work. I used to be a pro esports player, so I'm a bit of a geek in my spare time. My accountant looks after a number of people like me, gaming personalities, gaming, ex-pros or whatever it might be. He looks after streamers, and he has about 13 streamers on his portfolio, and he does their taxes. Twitch is a streaming platform for people who want to watch video game entertainment, so competitions in gaming. He said his 13 streamers, some of them relatively unknown, all saw at least 200% increase in revenue off the back of the pandemic. So not only are we seeing on a large scale things like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime Video all increasing in subscribers because people are stuck at home and they want to do things to entertain themselves. Even on the smaller scale, the individual small business representatives are also seeing tremendous increase in customer engagement. That's relevant to you guys because that transcends also to shopping, social media, and you have an opportunity to capitalize on the increased engagement opportunities we're seeing from consumers across a multitude of different engagement platforms. Another example is Freeletics, which is an app for working out at home. I've had the app for about 2 years. Didn't use it. Don't judge me. I've started using it now the last few months, and I'm happy to say I'm lost a considerable amount of weight. They had 1 million downloads when the pandemic started on Android. They now have over 10 million downloads in the space of 3 months. That just goes to show digital has always been a pivotal part of our world, but it's becoming more and more the new norm. Now let's look at shopping, because that was like general digital engagement. Shopping and spending in relation to pandemic announcements. So March 11th, who declares a pandemic? What happens to digital commerce? So digital revenue is the green line you see here, always growing anyway. And blue is the cases that we're seeing that are being reported by the media. The more cases reported, the more people don't want to go outside, the more stores are closing, the more the only way to shop is online. So naturally, you see a significant trend here as when the cases increase, the digital revenue significantly increased because everyone is just sticking to shopping online. So as much as this is not a convenient situation, and it's not a situation that we're happy about, of course, the overall does not justify, the ends does not justify the means overall. There's still something to be done here in terms of you guys as a business. There's still an opportunity to capitalize. And a number of businesses who have survived this pandemic or even thrived in this pandemic have capitalized on this exact thing. This revenue increase and this increased consumer engagement in digital environments is what you have the opportunity to capitalize on in this current state. Now, we mentioned our usual growth is 20 to 35%. Check this out. Q2 2020 versus Q2 2019. Digital revenue growth saw our largest spike in our history as a platform. What are we? 24 years old as a platform? Sorry, forgive me. I think we're 16 years old as a platform, right? 71% year-on-year revenue growth. Bear in mind, I just told you guys we put through over $40 billion through the platform last year. So in a quarter, any given quarter, you could imagine we're doing 10 to 15 billion on the platform. What is 71% of 10 to 15 billion? That's the amount of revenue we've seen go through our platform in an increase versus last year. More interestingly for you guys who have bricks and mortar stores, buy online, pick up in store sites. So sites that offered buy online, pick up in store in Q2 have seen a 127% increase versus shops that didn't offer it. Shops that didn't offer it still saw a 54% increase. Just imagine that impact on your revenue, 127% increase from Q2 2020. So the pandemic has had a tremendous impact on consumer behavior and their shopping online. And clearly, shopping online has become the new norm for a number of these industries and a number of these customer groups. Ordering from social channels. So we mentioned social media is seeing much more traffic at the moment. Ordering from social channel, we've got Instagram buyable images on Commerce Cloud, our platform, but you can also integrate this yourself on your own platform through a custom layer or a custom integration. You've got Pinterest. You've now got Snapchat ads that lead you to a website. So orders that have come from online social channels, Q2 2020 versus Q2 2019, 104% increase. Again, that is a record on our platform, right? So just to show the statistic we saw earlier with customers being more, just imagine the footfall around your physical store increased by 700%. What's that going to do to the transactions in your physical store? That's exactly what's happening in online e-commerce. But you need to be prepared to capitalize on it. If you don't have social connectors, social channels, and buyable images on your social channels, then you're not going to see this like other customers are, right? The reason our customers have seen this is because we do all of this out of the box and they're able to leverage those capabilities. So social media has become a much more important revenue generation channel, not just a marketing stream anymore, guys. Okay, so the new norm here is, and this is a bit more of the negativity, and you're going to understand why the customers are doing buy online, pick up in store, right? The challenge a lot of companies have faced is the online growth has been unprecedented. Imagine 71%, what that actually means, guys. A 71% increase is not something that you prepare to forecast as a massive organization like some of the customers we have. That's like, and that's changing. If you're a customer that's seeing already a 20% growth, maybe you went down by 10% if you were in furniture. But if you were in grocery, you saw 400% increase in revenue, in orders. So what's happened on the negative side is the ability to fulfill the orders, the ability to supply available stock has been significantly impacted by the pandemic and the COVID-19 crisis. So a lot of businesses have been increasing revenue, increasing customer engagement, customer acquisition, but they've actually been decreasing in customer satisfaction and order fulfillment, which is not where anyone wants to be. To be fair, we couldn't have predicted this explosion, right? Now's the time to adapt. So this is us leading towards the prediction, guys, right? We're anticipating a second wave. We know in the winter, there's going to be a lot of symptoms similar to COVID-19 that a lot of people are going to panic about. Government's already starting to enforce second lockdowns. Like I said, Dublin's just gone into level 4. So we need to be prepared to respond better than what we did earlier when this pandemic hit us for the first time. Now we've had the opportunity to trial and error it. We can actually perform better, because you bet your top dollar when these secondary lockdowns happen, online engagement and revenue and orders is going to spike again. It's guaranteed, right? So what do we predict is going to happen when these things happen? This is my favorite part, guys. So 5 key predictions that we've made here, and these are based on patterns of behavior we've seen from both small, medium, and large businesses across USA and EMEA. Right, we've got a plethora of customers across these different industry territories. So first and foremost, stating the obvious here, guys, e-commerce is the new norm. We don't expect this momentum to shift away from e-commerce. So if you look at 2017, 2018, 2019, 10%, 12%, 14%. This is industry-wise. This is not Commerce Cloud, by the way. This is an industry report we've looked at. So this is including all e-commerce platforms. We're expecting the holiday revenue this year to be 30% of your overall revenue online. 30% online. I'm very sorry. Just 1 second. I'm professional. I should have told my wife I was delivering something. Honey, I'm delivering a session. A little bit embarrassing there. Sorry, guys. Where was I?
Baby, we are all in that boat. So I think if anything, this makes your godlike status. It makes you just feel a bit more human to all of us. But we are riveted. So carry on, please.
It didn't help that she was complaining about one of her best mates as well. You know, don't need you guys hearing that snaky behavior. All right, it's not on. All right.
We actually didn't hear anything as far as.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, she wasn't complaining about her best mates at all. I just made that up. Okay, moving on, guys. So yeah, holiday revenue has been made up in this manner, 2017, 2018, 2019. That's the holiday revenue that's being transacted online, you can see here, versus bricks and mortar. We anticipate that e-commerce, and this is probably a conservative anticipation, by the way, guys, because it's going to be winter, so a lot of people aren't going to be wanting to go out with this crisis increasing in cases. We're going to see 30% of your revenue come from online during this holiday period, which will be the largest percentage of holiday transactions in holiday history. So if you're not prepared to fulfill a tremendous increase in orders for this holiday season, that's Black Friday, that's Christmas, that's all the key areas during the holiday season, get prepared, because we're expecting it to be the largest e-commerce engagement for any holiday period we've ever seen. Prime Day been pushed back. So this is one of the predictions I mentioned earlier that we're hoping to find out if we were right or not. So Prime Day actually got pushed back twice, and it just happened last week. But what that did was it decreased the gap between Prime Day and Black Friday. So those of you familiar with Black Friday, those of you who see business increases from Black Friday, we anticipate that this is going to have a negative impact on Black Friday, because we think that Prime Day being so close to Black Friday now is going to take approximately 10% away from the Black Friday period. Why? Customers have been experiencing lack of fulfillment. Customers have been experiencing lack of stock. The spikes have decreased the customers' trust in their most beloved brands. Prime Day is 50 days earlier. I'm going to do my holiday shopping during Prime Day to avoid disappointment. So a lot of customers have gone and done their holiday shopping already, just because of the unreliability they've experienced for online transactions during this pandemic. So we anticipate a 10% dip from Black Friday will have gone to Prime Day. We'll find out if we were right about that in the next few weeks, okay? And the last mile delivery, we anticipate is going to run out of capacity. Now, guys, if you have not prepared to fulfill 2 to 3 times your usual amount of orders during the holiday period, we strongly advise you make this preparation now. We saw already a significant decline in orders being fulfilled across our platform for a number of our customers, a number of customers that aren't on our platform, because the increase was so severe. We know this increase is coming. Businesses must now prepare to avoid this. But unfortunately, no matter how much you prepare, I think there's a number of businesses out there, we believe a number of businesses out there are unprepared for this. And we're going to see a tremendous increase in packages being risk of being delayed or potentially not even being available. So this is something that everyone should be trying to avoid. But when the spike hits what we're expecting it to, unfortunately, this is something that's going to happen. Now, this is the problem. I like to talk about the opportunity as well, because the problem is a negative thing. Let's keep it positive. Your opportunity is here. So because customers have already been experiencing this lack of reliability, painful shopping experiences online, you as businesses, when fulfilling your orders or your services, you have an opportunity, if you can get that process in place, to upsell your customers a more reliable delivery option. We've seen I think we did a survey, and it was about 30% of customers said they'd happily pay a premium on top of their order value just to make sure the order actually came on time, because loads of orders have not been coming on time. That's an opportunity for you guys. If you can find some kind of additional fulfillment channel or something in place, you can also get your customers to pay that additional and make additional money, of course, from the pain to get those orders delivered on time and on budget. Now, if you don't do this, the big challenge you're going to have is a higher percentage of returns due to customer delivery disappointment. So a lot of customers were returning items earlier as well, because the delivery was said for 2 days and it came 2 weeks later, or it didn't come at all, so they canceled their order. So this is another thing we anticipate, high returns. Interestingly for you guys as well as this fulfillment challenge we have seen some interesting moves from the taxi businesses in the industry. Now, this may not happen, but in America, we saw Instacart and Lyft operate premium fulfillment channels. So you know this section here, delivery surcharges? They operated premium fulfillment channels for a few websites, and they saw their services. By the way, these guys are low in terms of their transactions, right? Less people on the streets, less people traveling, less taxi drivers needed. So this is a fantastic opportunity to create a win-win. We have a pain in e-commerce. We're seeing way too many orders. FedEx, UPS, and DHL are struggling to fulfill. 5% of orders not being fulfilled equals about 700 million packages. So it's a massive, massive problem. Uber, Lyft, Bolt, Instacart, these guys can offer a service, if you partner with them, where they actually operate as an additional charged delivery option for that customer. And as we said earlier, 30% of customers are happy to pay a higher percentage for the reliability of their package coming on time. So we are predicting that one, if not all of these taxi service providers are going to operate some kind of combined partnership with some of the leading commerce platforms in the market, or maybe even some of the niche platforms that just have tremendous traffic, to help to relieve some of the pain from FedEx, UPS, and DHL, because we're going to see a tremendous amount of orders going out of capacity for fulfillment this holiday season. So that's a big prediction. It's a very interesting one for me. And if you're not exploring that, we would say start exploring that. If you're someone who knows someone at Bolt high up, they should be looking at this as a way to fulfill the gap that they've had with the current lockdowns across Eastern Europe. And of course, they're in Western Europe too now as well. Okay, stores are going to become more relevant. So we know stores are closed, but this is another one of our predictions. Prediction 4 is If you have stores, okay, you're not going to be able to open them to people going in and out, especially if the lockdown gets more severe. You can leverage them for BOPIS. We saw already, right? Buy online, pick up in store. So we expect, on average, because the customers are lacking trust and faith in the delivery channels that they have and the reliability of the delivery dates they're being given due to the increase in orders, if a customer is given the option to collect in store on said date, they would rather pick that because they know that the item is there and they know they're going to get it on the day that they're being told, as opposed to it not arriving or being delayed by 2 weeks, which is what a lot of customers have experienced off the back of the first lockdown. So stores, we're expecting to see buy online, pick up in store increase by an average of 90% year over year. That's a tremendous increase. By the way, we're probably being a bit cautious with that increase because you saw already in Q2 alone, it was a 125% increase on our platform. So if you take all the other platforms, the Bespoke, the Magentos, the Shopify, all the customers out there on e-commerce platforms, 90% is probably a bit conservative. So if you have stores, leverage stores, give the customer the option to pick up in store, alleviate that concern, that pain, and they will use that option. And even if you want some of you cheeky retailers out there might actually charge customers to pick up in store. I don't believe in that personally. I think it's a bad idea. But if it's something that you need to do to make the logistics work, then do it. As long as the option's there, we know we're expecting to see a tremendous increase this holiday season for buy online, pick up in store. So if you have the option, leverage it. Contactless engagement methods in action as well. So click and collect, contactless services as well. We're expecting to see this spike during this holiday season. And the last one I wanted to talk about was social, leveraging social. So guys, TikTok, Instagram, video games, Animal Crossing, right? And there's another one now that everyone's playing, Among Us, right? All of these guys have seen a tremendous increase in consumer engagement. These are channels that with the correct partnerships or the correct integrations, we expect the most innovative businesses, or at least the most ambitious businesses, to capitalize upon. What was the statistic earlier? 104% increase in transactions coming from social media channels. This is your opportunity, guys. So not only are we seeing a number of businesses operate try an outfit on TikTok or buyable images on Instagram, we're also seeing apps, video game apps, do in-game advertising for products that characters are wearing in the game. And these are actually getting tremendous traction from the consumers who are actually buying. So Valentino did a collaborative effort with Animal Crossing where they had one of the characters' clothing available. You click through from the game to the Valentino website and you can make a purchase of that exact item. It may sound extremely geeky, but Animal Crossing has millions of players. And so too does Among Us, the new one. So if there's an opportunity to strike a unique relationship with one of these rapid growing mobile app games to get your brand in front of customers, or even if it's just to leverage your TikTok or your Instagram channel, we anticipate everyone's going to be doing this. So if you have the opportunity to, you should also do it as well. It's a massive pool of footfall that you can capitalize on to bring customers to your web shop, to your site, to your product page. Guys, that is the final predictions. That's 5 predictions we've made, as well as all the data. The sources of this data are available here. I will share with Rainis and the rest of the team, Scott, to make sure that you guys can get hold of it. We have our own report that we do. If you want, you can go and check that out now. That's available on our Tableau website. Tableau is now a Salesforce company. So a lot of the data that I've spoken about is available for you guys to look at straight away. We also have a 2020 holidays prediction blog, which goes into the reasons why we've made our predictions and also all the data behind those predictions for you guys. I hope you found this session valuable and helpful. If you're a retailer in B2C or B2B, I think there's data here relevant to many businesses. I'm happy to take questions if there's time. If not, please email me or contact me on LinkedIn. And yeah, that's the end of the session. I hope you found that helpful.
Femi, thank you very much. I'm looking here at the questions. They aren't questions so much as marks of agreement. Let's make sure the fulfillment works out, right? My wife today actually is waiting for a package that's taken, it's late by a week, and every day, just no idea where this thing is. So thank you very much for sharing all of that. Those links particularly, boom, really, really helpful. So thank you very much. Everyone, That was Femi Adeboye, the Games Master. Femi, thank you. And of course, Femi, you like that, the Games Master, eh? And Femi will, should eCOM360 2021 happen, Femi is scheduled to be there. So you will get to hear.
Absolutely. It was supposed to happen earlier this year, wasn't it? Such a shame we
it was
didn't
it was meant to be March, then it was meant to be today, but maybe next year we'll see you. Right. Well, thank you, Femi. We're now going to move across to our last speaker of the day. We're going to finish up where we began, back with Anton's Crossing Invisible Borders Online Citizenship. The title alone has me very piqued. So Anton, of course, you founded Scandiware back in 2003, now a 200-person organization, and clients such as, the New York Times and things like this. I mean, a superb job. So I'm looking forward to anything that you have to say where I can gather some advice. Handing it over to you right now.
Can you repeat, please?
Yep, I can hear you and see you.
Okay.
So, yeah, you're good to go.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Scott. Hello again. Thanks for staying. It is the last presentation for today, and it actually was meant to be different, but just a few days ago I realized something completely new and very important for me. So I decided to change it completely and to prepare what I'm going to share right now. So I will consult some notes and to make sure that I didn't miss anything. So I want to claim that crossing invisible borders is valuable. Well, that's the reason why I'm here to take some of your time. And once you cross it, you happen to be in a great space, so-called blue ocean. You're pretty much alone there, and everything happens easily and fast. Yet we do not see these borders, otherwise everybody would be crossing them a few times a day. It's just like this experiment with a shark-like fish. They put it in a huge aquarium with other fishes, and they put a smaller aquarium around this kind of shark fish. So the fish tried to catch other small fishes, but there was glass walls, was bumping, okay, then figured out, okay, I can't do anything. And then when the small aquarium was removed, the fish didn't move anyway, because it was programmed, I mean, it persuaded itself that, well, doesn't work to try. So these borders are super valuable, but they're invisible. So how can we cross them? So I want to share one of the borders, of these invisible borders, that I find an extremely exciting to consider crossing. And before we jump to that particular border of interest, I want to share a case of our company actually crossing one of invisible borders to bring some example, some specific example, instead of talking about something we potentially can cross, but we don't see it. So it happened more than 10 years ago. We were a small digital workshop, just like thousands of others, making not even landing pages. There were no landing pages back then. It was just corporate presentations, online stores, sometimes without the possibility to pay, just to choose, just online catalogs. And then it was a crisis of 2008, so everything kind of was on hold, and I decided to take a break and go to study in Denmark, Copenhagen, IT University of Copenhagen. Exciting times. I wanted to find some job. I sent my CV to all kind of places, accepting interns, flower packing, postman, McDonald's. Rejected. Well, not specifically rejected. Thank you. We keep you in file. So I had to start working, selling, offering services of our company, which was based in Latvia while I was living in Denmark. It was successful. We got some customers. What was really surprising to me that despite me sitting there in Copenhagen, some of them didn't want to meet me or didn't want to accept me like, oh, let's meet in New Zealand. Okay, here is a task, here is a project, here is a definition, go make it. Then we'll look at it digitally. But I mean, I was doing my work, company was growing a bit. And then my now wife came to Denmark, we got pregnant, came back to Latvia. And I was still in touch with these Danish customers. How I got them? Well, I was just calling them, cold emails, nothing special. But it was efficient. And the biggest question for me was, because I felt permission to call to these Danish customers living in Denmark, but now living in Latvia, can I call to these guys in Denmark? Well, I tried and it worked. And then I thought, okay, if it works for Denmark, maybe I should start emailing and calling companies in Netherlands. And we did. And more than 10 years ago, for our market, it was just like for this shark with this invisible glass wall. It was completely unimaginable. You can actually service customers abroad if you are IT workshop. Just like, how? They don't know me. I cannot go there. We cannot meet. Language, all kind of blockers. And well, since we made this, back then we were a frequent guest on all kind of expert missions or experience sharing, mentoring programs, sharing our secret. But very simple. We sent an email to Netherlands and then to US, and they replied. Well, not all of them, but some replied. And we started to work with them. And for me, it is huge invisible border. I would not cross it. I would not cross it unless the circumstances would position me in a way that they positioned me. So if we wouldn't move from Denmark, I'm pretty sure I would still service Danish customers because I was living there. I would call them, I would try to meet them. Maybe I would expand to Scandinavia. But coming back to Latvia and questioning, like, because I mean, it was just a call or just email. Yes, I was physically present there. So I was in this mental, invisible box of allowing myself to reach out only to potential customers within the same region. So let's stop here for a few seconds. I'll just check if there are some questions or comments in YouTube. Maybe there will be some more, but because there is some delay. So the question is, why was it invisible? Why does it matter? Well, why it matters, it helped our company to grow by 100, 300% annually, and we still growing. We are the largest independent digital services company in the region. We're almost 300 now, and so this invisible border pretty much made us. If we wouldn't cross it, there would not be eCOM360. As simple as it. So, and frankly speaking, I never thought about it in this way. I only started to conceptualize this event for me this way when we were talking about the next invisible border that I wanted to share after giving this example. But it's just 2 words, and if I tell them, I'm pretty sure that our number of visitors will drop. Let's experiment. So this border, a very special border that I want to share, and I'm very excited about it, is a switch from Renes is very excited here. I think it's a switch. Let's see, we have, oh no, 3 more. It's a switch from offline to online. And now we're like, a deep thought. So let's check it out. Now people are still excited, not dropping. Okay, so yes, it's switched from offline to online, and this is what you were hearing for 20 years already, right? Everybody's talking about this switch. I will be more specific. This is for the way how office and work is organized currently. And now you have another, like, okay, this guy is just wanna tell that Twitter CEO is right, telling that, well, guys, you can work from home forever. That's what he said. Or maybe you think that I want to tell about the tools like Google Workspace, I just announced a few years ago, or a few weeks ago, or Zoom is opening marketplace of extensions to make our communication more engaging, more exciting, or maybe digital whiteboard. No, 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 no. Let me consult my notes, because I don't want to miss something important here, and maybe it's a 15 seconds break for the questions. But I don't want to tell about neither of these. Not even about digital worlds, now that there are a lot of startups offering you to mimic your office in 2D world. So you have your desk, meeting room, cafeteria, you can move there, come to the people, join the call, video conference, bump into the meeting, or not about this. Well, what is it that I want to tell in a context from offline to online in relation to the office and organizational work is about destruction. I want to tell that this border is about destroying the office as we know it currently and building completely new one. Online office, virtual one. Do you remember cubicles? Cubicle offices, not anymore. Well, still around, but how many talents they do attract. Campus culture, Facebook famous offices architected by Disneyland architect. Massages, baristas. We have popcorn machine just 10 meters from here, from this place, and barista as well. But I believe this should be destroyed. Not physically, we're not going to destroy a popcorn machine or fire barista. But the concept of physical office should be destroyed. And what I want to continue talking about further is about a true virtual, online first and only office. And one thing I particularly do not like in current kind of office situation is that this is called remote. You're a remote worker. May I work remotely today? Or guys, it's epidemiologic situation. Everybody is working remotely now. In any language I know, like Russian, Latvian, Ukrainian, Spanish, English, remote word has negative connotations. It means that there is some center, probably headquarters, and you are remote. There is a distance between something that we try to gravitate towards and you. Remote worker. I don't want to be remote worker. And at the same time, if we would imagine that a corporation can enforce on-site presence, that at some point people will just tell, why you need my body? Why do you need my body right here? Is it the work I'm producing is somehow related to my body that needs to sit there in that particular space? So my answer is, and my answer is destroying and building something new that will remove radically all the concerns of present offices, all these hybrid offices, or remote workers. There is no remote workers in online space. There is no remote workers in virtual offices. Yes, it is not work from the office, it is not work from home, it is work. And I don't care from anywhere, from wherever it is. And again, let's stop here. 30 seconds break for questions. Hopefully we get some or some comments. I will check YouTube channel. Okay. So. Since this year, March, one of the most popular words were epidemic, pandemic, crisis. And I think since 2008, or maybe some people even since .com crisis, everybody knows this. Chinese hieroglyphs, it's an opportunity. It's like a disaster and opportunity. And when crisis happens in March, you're like wondering, what is this opportunity? Should I sell toilet paper now? Should I buy and sell masks? Should I produce masks? Should I sell disinfection? I believe that one of the emerging opportunities is an office that has no relation to a physical location. Your office can stay, it can just transform to co-working space. Nobody would care you are in the office or it can shrink. I'm very inspired by GitLab founder Sid, who has 1,300 people working, who cares where, they just have a PO box in San Francisco. Why this is opportunity? Why this is not just, okay, we'll destroy something, we'll destroy campus culture. What are we creating? What are we creating? What is this virtual online first environment? First of all, this is the digitalization of your processes. You need to, why we, for example, as a company, we used to allow, just like parents are not good, allow our team to work remotely after, say, a year or half a year, or when they become so-called independent, because we realize that office environment enables knowledge transfer, enables process help. We did not have all the processes digitalized. So online space, virtual space, like GitLab hubs, GitLab, they have almost 2,000 pages guide on what is the values, what is the process, how to communicate, how to meet, how to ask for a rise, a salary calculator. So things are automated, and so you need to think about digital twin of your organization in digital space. And once you digitalize processes, you can get finally where everybody wants to get, to automation. For us as a tech company, that's very easy. We can automate test assignments. We can automate education with test automation and static code analysis. So generally, scripts can hire and train people extremely efficiently. We just refresh the page and see, okay, it's not 42 people trained, it's already 70. And I personally believe that, as I tell, that only, say, remote work is great when there is a great individual involved. So some people consider their current team as incapable of working remotely fully because, well, some people, they cannot organize themselves and so on and so on. Don't think about just your team. Think about the whole world, because online offices, this is online citizenship, right? They scale to the earth. And even if we really look very deep at these things, there is no single internet, right? There is American internet, the Chinese internet. There is Indian internet now, they banned TikTok, and Indonesia as well, but for another reason. So there is Russian internet and, well, North Korean internet, intranet, right? So, but still, it scales to the earth. So I believe it will allow organizations embarking on this journey find a true perfect match. Find a person for whom the cost of switching from you to another company is zero. So the reason why they're with you is because of you and them. It's because of this match. I don't even mention like such things as like saving time on commute, because that's already discussed, and that's like in this dichotomy of working from home, working from office. Who cares where you work? I think more about not saving of the time that, well, that does happen, but about the new experiences that this online centric work environment would enable. Some people tell we cannot be creative unless we meet in the meeting room at the whiteboard. Digital, just check YouTube for Burning Man Multiverse. Burning Man, you might know this event of, well, not a festival, event in Nevada desert. They couldn't be open this year due to lockdown, so they did it online. So the experiences they have created are unprecedented. And if you want to meet and be creative, all the wealth of 3D worlds are there for you to fly together, explore, or fight in multiplayer online games, or just in simple 3D worlds where you can be a giraffe or pink unicorn chatting in jacuzzi with your colleagues that is on top of Mount Everest, and then doing something else. So what I really like, what inspires me personally in this concept of forgetting about the office setup we have and creating a new one from scratch, rather than trying to bring some crutches to the breaking structure of campus culture with Zooms and sending maybe guys some instructions on how to set up workspace ergonomically. It's not just gives answers to a lot of questions, but it enables a lot of different new things. So the list is big, and I'm sure that the concept, if we really look into it, I mean, if we feel it and if we spend time thinking about it, it really unlocks. So for me personally, this is a very important invisible wall that I am exploring crossing with our organization, that will help us to build a work environment based on trust, first of all, to every individual person in our organization, transparency, honesty, quality, and bring an unlimited wealth of new experiences and revelations. So that's my message today about crossing invisible borders, and this one specifically, and tapping in the world of digital citizenship. Thank you for attention, Scott.
Well, I've really enjoyed this. There's a lot of really significant things there that you've touched upon. And I mean, I was actually speaking at an event in Riga online on Monday, looking at the trends of people moving out of offices and, you know, what are the leadership implications? You know, what you're describing really is the reality of what will happen. It's, it's true, it's unavoidable. I quickly showed a slide that, in my presentation about how work from home has kind of slowly risen. Now it's just spiked up and we're expecting it to dip, but not dip back down to where it used to be. I think this is all really good. And the principal thing here is this is about people actually want to enjoy their life. We need to offer flexibility. We need to begin to offer things that enable them to live a life that's away from the office. Like you say, the word remote is just really unhelpful. So yeah, superb. Thank you very much. That I'll be watching that again because I think there were some real gems there that I hope a lot of people can take away.
Thank you. And actually, just think about the people who are already living in online first, where well, significant portion of their daily emotions happen in online first. I mean kids. And we also, I mean, that's the same as switch from offline to online. Everybody's kids now are born with gadgets that their mother, nanny, and whoever else. But they're not, I mean, they used to be consuming things. Now I see kids of, say, I have 4, 6, and 10 years old kids. So they have their digital playground, and I would say that our conventional playground culture is destroyed, just as I suggest to destroy the conventional office. Their playground is online. They are talking in asynchronous or synchronous voice chat there with their friends from school, playing games. They make new friends. They talk in YouTube with their heroes and they reply them. So they have the entire, so they are made for this online first experience, and unless we can match what they expect, we would fail as employers, for example, and possibly as brands, if we're consumer brands with whom they would want to associate themselves at some point.
Yeah, the point you're making here is anthropological in understanding the way that humans are now actually being. Again, really, really good thoughts. I hope that when we finally are at eCom in person, you could talk more about this because I'm really keen to discuss it with you. Thank you very much, Antons, which leads me to say thank you very much to everybody. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it, and we very much look forward to seeing all of you in person. Do go to eCOM360.io where you can find out more about booking and getting videos and staying in touch. And of course, you can also contact ScandiWeb and the other organizations that have spoken today. Have a lovely weekend. And again, thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, audience. Bye-bye.
Oh, Femi's still there. Cheers, Femi.